Your heart is free. Have the courage to follow it.
All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
Brothers! What we do in life echoes in eternity.
This is Lion Lamb number 3, and we're starting the new year off. New Year's just passed. I'm, your host, one of your hosts, Joshua Flores,
And Ethan Ludwig, thank you for having me on. Joshua Flores.
thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
And so today we're gonna do something that we're probably gonna do more. It's just gonna be casual talks. This is how we kind of got started, right?
Right.
Just like, sit around fires, working and smoking some cigars. Although it doesn't agree too much with our message, but that's what you get.
Hey, if Jesus could smoke cigars, he probably would.
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. And we're pretty much just gonna, go back to our roots.
Just talk about random stuff that comes in our heads, and 25% of it's going to be like fire stuff. It's going to be good stuff.
Yeah, and it's called Fire Talk because we're having fire and we're talking.
And it appeals to black.
All right, so the main thing that I've been kind of thinking about and talking of lately is just like the kind of climate of the nation, and I don't know how much of that you've seen.
Have you seen that video about that one transgender who gets
Oh my god! Oh my god!
who gets mad at GameStop because he
There's a young man in here. And you watch him out.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
I'm
It
sorry.
is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay?
I don't want there to be in the comments, but this person, we'll put it at that, definitely
this beam of sorts.
he got pretty upset.
You don't want to call them a person; they might not identify with the human
Yeah,
race.
so yeah, that's kind of the issue now. Is like with transgenders and
You know
stuff.
what I was thinking too? Slippery slope. You know what I mean? First,
Oh yeah, dude.
okay. First, we allowed gay marriage. Okay.
Well, we didn't allow it. Let's just.
Well, right. The nation. It's the nation. The
gay
populace.
marriage got voted
yeah,
upon.
it got voted upon.
Well, let me just say too about gay marriage. Ben Shapiro says, it's not really like the government's job at all to be dictating marriage.
Right.
So it's like
I mean,
they should be out
yeah.
of it. And if gay people want to have like their own type of like title,
Yeah, exactly.
then it's like okay. But like marriage is a Christian concept, and that's just kind of like it's like an oxymoron because the Bible states that God looks at being homosexual as a sin. Now, if you don't buy into the Bible, then it doesn't really apply to you. But if to say gay marriage is like an oxymoron, it's like saying dry water.
Right.
That's a little bold, but I mean, I just stated why. So
Right.
that's my opinion on it.
Anyway, so we allowed. So gay marriage was legalized and passed. Now, okay, this is all speculation, but now we're starting to allow, or America's starting to let slip through the cracks transgenderism.
Right.
Watch. And then next,
And those two things maybe aren't that bad. Okay. The only time I think that they're bad
they're
is
morally wrong, that's for sure.
according to the Bible, yes. But as far as like how much does it affect you and me,
As much as
it doesn't affect us too
America,
much.
baby, that's freedom right there.
Yeah.
You have the choice to be a woman.
I'm
Imagine
all-
being in Saudi Arabia. So you can walk around. I'm actually a woman now,
Yeah.
guys. Oh, But that's the best part about America.
That's a
you
great
you
point.
either
That's
have
what
it
people
all
fought, you
or
know? They have freedom.
or none of it.
And my thing is, like, for me personally, this is my personal view, not my religious, or not religious, but my view with the filter of the Bible. But my personal view is that, if you're gonna be in a relationship or whatever, or really if you're gonna do anything in your own time, in your own space, and you're not hurting anybody, I do not care what you're doing. But
That's true.
the thing is that they try to kind of force it down people's throats, like it's also
Like
okay.
when they want us to call them,
yeah,
like ma'am,
and then
sir.
regulate it by law. See,
Right.
that's where the lines get a little
Mhm.
blurry. And just like it's not I can't be offended and say I'm not okay with you being gay. You can't be offended if I don't want to call you anything that you say.
Right.
And I don't know the second that, that like the second I meet you, I don't know, and then I get
Right.
arrested. That's kind of what people are afraid of, because like in Canada and stuff, people are actually
'Cause
getting arrested.
And then also too, that's going against our freedom, because if I want to call you a man, I can call you a man.
Yeah,
If I can call you a woman, I can call you a woman.
that's the
that
First
doesn't-
Amendment.
Yeah, that doesn't. If I'm not like spewing hate speech towards you, which I don't consider that hate speech. No,
But hate speech is not even, yeah.
Yeah,
So
hate speech
they
now
like
is-
made hate speech
mhm.
subjective to, like, if I said, if I just say something about Ethan that even is positive but he doesn't like, that's considered hate speech by some people now,
Mhm.
Luckily we're in Texas, so it ain't got that for you.
Okay, well, what I was saying though,
Except
was-
Boston.
and
put 'em
then
in
now,
Canada.
have you ever seen like those videos of like people being like openly pedophilic?
Mm.
They're
Yeah,
like
I agree with you.
they're accepting it,
Yeah.
but yet they're like, oh, we don't act on it. But watch, with
Yeah,
the next
dude.
coming generation, they're gonna have
That's-
people fighting for like,
it's like stepping stones,
yeah, exactly.
It's
a
like
slippery slope.
first-
And then next we're gonna have marriages between like animals
Crazy
and
stuff, yeah.
humans. That's gonna be normal. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And the thing is about all those things is once you start including another person, then you're going to start hurting people, and that's when it gets real bad.
Right.
And that's when a lot of people will have and do have a problem with it right now, but a lot of people had a problem with stuff that they don't have a problem with anymore, sometimes in a good way, like slavery.
Right.
But sometimes it might be bad if people get too understanding and they start saying, oh, if you truly love kids, then go ahead.
Right.
What if people start saying that?
Plus, like, if you
That's
like look
gonna
at
be
it from like the big picture, when all that stuff
crazy.
starts happening, it's just we're just inching closer to the second coming,
Oh yeah.
whenever-
So you pull it back to the Bible, and the Bible actually talks about all this.
Mhm.
And if you ever heard of or read any of the books that Paul writes to like any of the people like Colossians, Thessalonians, Philippians, even to Romans, because he writes to the Romans, he basically says all the stuff that we deal with nowadays, like different types of immoral sexual acts or people just turning up too much. He's like, this is bad and this is why. It's all in the Bible. And that's why I kind of go back to the point that's saying, because, Leviticus, everyone gets mad about that verse. That says, you're not supposed to be gay.
Right.
It's considered sin by God. And that's in the Bible. So it's like you can't take a book that says one thing and then try to make it apply to your thing that's pretty much completely opposite from it,
Right.
And the thing about it too is like I've always said, like, so in my opinion, it's kind of like something that ails you. So say like, you're a drinker. I'm gonna do the Joker. My father was a drinker.
So you trying to say something?
Yeah. No, but hey.
It's our wolf.
Yeah. That was good. That was my line, dude.
Oh, sorry. Cut.
No, but so anyway, say that you're a drinker and you have the natural or what feels like the natural inclination to drink more beer and then more and then more and then more. That's a natural feeling you feel, but we know that you need to say one beer or however many is your limit where you can still function is enough.
And if you accidentally go over and get drunk, hey, at least your intention wasn't to get drunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But So, anyways,
Even with anything, if you walk down the street and you see like a cute guy, you know, yeah, so what? He kind of
That's-
cute, but like,
that's what I'm saying. That's
know,
exactly
act
what
on it.
See, the reason I know so well is because my friend Ethan here.
like,
Well, we both do. But we fight it together.
okay.
But anyways, the main thing is, so people have ailments, and they're born with it. They have natural, like tendencies and stuff that they're not good, and like it could be even eating. A lot of people, you need to eat. Eating is fine, stand alone. You need your food, but overindulgence is whenever it becomes bad. So there's a point where you have a natural inclination, like maybe a healthy sexual inclination with your wife, and then you overindulge and you're like, well, it'd be cool to be gay. It's like you got to try to bring that back. And this is looking at it from the religious Bible standpoint, because there are a lot of people and they look at it on the surface level and they're like, I naturally feel like I'm attracted to that man.
Right.
But what is that? It's the same way that person, like another person, would naturally feel that they want to eat 10 balls of ice cream. It's like their body says one thing. What's that song?
But their heart. My body.
Yeah.
My body is telling me yes.
So-
By R. Kelly or something. Didn't he
Yeah.
get like a charge for like?
Oh, see, we
Like-
do that all the time, like segues, and we didn't mean to segue.
Didn't he get like charged for like rape or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's not. Sorry, didn't mean to pull out the R word.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to
Yeah,
say
we're gonna have to
anyone.
bleep it.
I know.
We're gonna get violation. But yeah, he got charged, dude, and that's just like another thing where it's like, I've always wondered how can people that are, even more like he's not super successful, but he was pretty successful and a lot more successful than like or at least what people would look at as success than like an average Joe. But they mess up so bad like that, How the heck does that happen?
Because that Me Too movement, everyone is trying to. That's another thing too. That Me Too movement. Now, when it first came out, I'm sure it was probably a good thing, but now it's like.
Everything when it came out
Yeah,
was a good thing, but
right.
then, like I say, people
But now it's
overindulge.
like, yeah, people now
they
they
turn
like,
into something bad
yeah.
that people joke about.
If it was like consensual, and like now with that Me Too movement, they think that everyone will believe them and women. Never mind.
And
I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole.
let's think about that. So God answers that, and He gets it like 3 or 4 levels back. He's like, you should only have sex within marriage.
Right.
And now, if you're not doing that, okay.
Or even says like to look with lust upon a woman is wrong. you
Yeah.
know?
And one of those like Hasidic
That's-
Jews
That's
do.
how much self-control you have to have, because if you catch yourself in the act, it's like that's when you gotta revert
Yeah.
back. You can't just keep indulging that
They
thought.
do. They have a lot of freaking laws, though, man.
Oh yeah. Well,
Those
that's right.
Jews.
That's
Well, like
the
pretty much
Christian
all
law.
religions.
Yeah.
Catholics do. They have a lot.
Uh-huh.
And I just think that kind of like it's definitely good to have all those laws, but some of them can be counterproductive. Some of them can hold you back from like certain
Right.
ambitions. And if it's man-made law, it could be flawed. The only law that's not going to have any flaws will be God's law, which is all in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that, I was reading a little bit, and we had a pastor talk about it. And actually, in John 1, he says that in the beginning, God created the Word. You remember that verse?
Mm-hmm. And the word was God.
And the Word was with God,
Oh,
and
with
the
God.
Word was God.
Was God. There we go.
So, if you think about that, what does that mean? The Word was God. So it means when you get in the Bible and you're praying and stuff like that, what are you actually doing? Well, you're actually communicating with God through His Word, because that says the Word was God. So you're reading God. That's a rough
Spending
sense.
time with Jesus, baby.
Yeah. So I mean, that should make you want to read your Bible if you have any Christian values, because He says it right there. The Word was God.
Mm-hmm.
And it's malleable. It looks like just words, but when God's speaking to you through it, it could mean a billion things. And I think people that, get deep into it know that, but a lot of people, they just look at it and they're like, they just look at like some story and they're like, what the
Right.
heck, what does this mean?
A lot of people.
This
do
guy went to this
yeah.
city. What the
A
heck
lot
does
of
that
do-
have to
A
do?
lot of people do think that it's just a bunch of stories
Yeah.
that are made up.
A lot of people discount it too because there's like imperfections, but what they see as an imperfection is actually God addressing something, or he's just thinking way outside the box than what they could think. And because they can't figure out what he's saying, they think that there's no answer. But what they don't factor is that human understanding and human knowledge has barriers. And because something crosses that barrier, what does that mean? That doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means that we as humans are too naive. We don't have the capacity to understand it. A lot of people make that mistake, especially smart people, because they're like, I'm smarter than him, I'm smarter than him. I must know it all. And it's like, no, there's a lot of stuff that you don't know. There's a lot of stuff that everybody as a collective don't know. So I think that that's a real dangerous pathway to go down. It's like, I can't figure it out, so there's no option. There's no answer. No, that's not the case at all.
Don't get it wrong.
Edit this out. I gotta like this crap.
Yeah, transgenders too. Have
He's
y'all heard?
really set on transgenders today.
There's big news that came out.
Okay.
Of, this woman got or man got a gender switch.
YouTube's like violate.
Yeah. Whoa, this goes on with the story. A man he froze his sperm and he froze it.
This is a little graphic. Wait. This is a little graphic, so you might want to skip this 30 seconds.
Got his cut off, and then he got this. I think this is the first one that this man had a surgery. I think this was the first one that had. What's that noise?
Oh, that's a tree.
Damn it.
Okay.
Not today, Satan. I'm gonna get through this transgender story.
But
back to transgenderism. All right, so there was a man who got his cut off. I'll link the story. But,
link it. Are you really gonna link it?
Well, but before, yeah, it's interesting. But before, because it ties into the topic, like now, this woman's gonna have. Imagine how the baby. Oh, let me get done with the story first, so y'all know. Okay, so the man got his ding dong cut off, but before he did that, he froze his sperm, and he got a surgery to have a womb inside of him. I think it was the first one ever. I don't know if it was ever attempted, but it worked though.
Probably
so
not,
then he got the sperm and impregnated himself. So yeah, so that ties back into like, imagine how this kid's gonna like morph. He's gonna be like inbred on steroids.
Dude,
he's not gonna have any teeth.
That thing's gonna look freaking crazy.
But anyway, that ties
Wait,
back
how can
into.
did he conceive though? Because I don't think you can conceive with yourself.
What?
I don't think you can conceive a baby with yourself, like all the hormones and stuff.
Oh well,
like
I guess we'll find out in 9 months.
Like his egg, because women have an egg. So
well,
did he
no,
get
no.
eggs?
Yeah, he got a whole like reproductive system or something. It's crazy.
Now,
we
how
could be
does
like
that make
curing
sense?
cancer or something with all this. Well, instead we learn how to transplant a womb.
How does that make sense to people that they're like, oh yeah, that's yeah, bro.
Yeah. Like I don't think anyone's okay with this. Like the doctor's just trying to get his money. Transgenders are like, what the heck? Like,
yeah. Go ahead.
It's for the cause, I guess.
For the cause. It's like 3 people there. They have like transgender shirts. Like, yeah.
It's like
unenthusiastic.
There's no way anyone could be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, I just, and then too, it's like, you see people every day that they kind of have some problems. And, we should help them as a society instead of like catering to like something like that, I mean, that'd be a cool like show and stuff, but like that dude like he has to go home the next day.
Hopefully he's not able to like actually have this kid, because I think this might be the only time I'll be okay with abortion.
I don't think that's abortion. I think that probably has to be a new category if you kill that, because that's not. Is that human still? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like a hydra. It's like a hydra of like things now. You created one new topic and then like all the subset new topics. Yeah. And the main thing that a lot of people get worried about is like they don't mind too much if you do it yourself, other than they think like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, but they just worry that they're gonna be forced to somehow cater to it
Oh yeah.
at the end of a gun, because nobody likes to be at the end of a gun.
It's like.
I guess it's gonna be a little political, but
Yeah. Very
you know
political.
what? You know what?
Hey, we're
It's
gonna
needed,
cut off
you know?
y'all. If anyone joined already, or if anyone joins eventually, and if they see this video, they're gonna unsubscribe. So we might as well get it over with
Yeah, that's
for all
true.
those,
Yeah,
all those people who don't like
yeah.
our.
But
Well, even if you don't like our
political-
views,
Yeah.
like, I mean, at least it's a different. We're trying to be.
And the thing is too, we're not like, I would say, set in stone. Like, we believe strongly because of like a lot of facts,
Right.
and because of our religious views.
Right.
But the thing is, we're always our open discussion.
Right.
And I think the main thing with liberals is that they do not want to talk. Like, if you say like, I sat that dude down, you're like, why would you want to do that? And he gives you like a well thought out like answer. You'd be like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
well maybe I would still recommend not, or maybe
Right.
you'll say, but a lot of them times they're just like start screaming and they call you whatever, like, and then that always happens. Like that one girl, Alexandria Cortez from New York. Have you heard of her?
Mm-mm.
Well, she's at New York, congresswoman or whatever. She's young. She's leading the charge, and Ben Shapiro, he's a Jewish guy, and he wanted to debate her, and she said like he's catcalling her for asking her to debate, And it's like, wouldn't a real like misogynist, wouldn't he not even give her the time of day? Wouldn't he be like, I'm not gonna talk to her. She's a woman. What is she? You know what I mean? But he's just like, hey, let's just have, He's not sitting there like, I'm gonna kick your, butt with facts. He's like, hey, can we talk? And somehow now that's becoming like, and people buy into it. She put that like, he's catcalling me, which I don't even get how that translates. But people are like, yeah, can you believe it? It's like, bro, he wants to just talk to you. You know what I mean? And not even like, he wants to talk to you in front of a camera
Like
about
that's
political
his whole
topics.
thing. Like he just talks with people and debates with people. It's not like he's like a plumber or something.
Yeah.
That's like his whole job.
Right,
description.
yeah.
He talks with people.
It's about politics, and it's not like he has credentials. He went to Harvard. He's well informed, and he just wants to have a conversation. But literally, all those people were like, "Can you believe it?" For asking, "Can I talk to her?" I mean, that's the thing that especially like a lot of blue collar, like hard worker people. They're like, "What the heck?" They're like, "What's the problem with talking?" Like, it just doesn't translate at all to these people in like the bigger cities, and they believe it 100%, and then you have that disconnect. And I think that's a huge part of why the country's in so much turmoil, because you have one people that believe this in their soul, that this makes sense, and then you have like the other people that are like, it doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't even translate into their way of thinking, and not in a bad sense. It's just like two totally different opposite sides. But what's the remedy for that? Talking it out.
Maybe,
But then you can't talk about it.
yeah. I think one big thing too is like people always assume like just because they're liberal conservative, it even goes both ways. Like it's just anyway, but like the other side thinks that the other side is just completely like extreme. But no, like that's not like there's some things like for example, for me, like the legalization of marijuana, like I wouldn't mind if that's legalized.
Alcohol is legal.
Right? Exactly. Alcohol is legal. If anything, alcohol causes more death than marijuana.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me. But plus that's whole.
There's a
Anyways,
lot of things that you can that like are freedom, but I think that like if you do cause a problem with it, that they should just throw the book at you.
Right.
Like they'll let you drink and even drive, but like every time someone kills someone, they just like kill you.
Right.
Or like throw the book at you. It's like, because then people will be like, okay, I don't want to die, so I'm not gonna potentially kill someone else, because unfortunately some people don't care about killing someone else, but they usually don't want to die themselves. Or just figuring out
Or
a
even
way.
like cold blood like murder. Like if you murder someone and you shouldn't like serve jail time at all. You should like get executed yourself.
Yeah. The only part about that gets kind of tricky is like
The
there have
expenses.
Yeah, and there have been a few people that got found innocent
Yeah.
later. So,
But I mean, but
they'd be like,
how
"Oops."
often does that happen? Like compared
Yeah.
to the people that they actually do. You know
They,
what I mean?
they could definitely, yeah. But my view is like, especially we talk about this. It's like, bro, if someone kills like your daughter or something, and then like the dad is not allowed to like get them, I'd be like,
Yeah.
bro,
They should
tie
just have
that
him.
man down and give
Yeah.
him like a bat, like just let him do it,
Or
bro.
it's like
Let-
boxing gloves, make it like humane. Just give him like just so he can get all of his anger on him. Just like have him in like a soft like padded room and like just
He's gonna
go
be
to,
in there
let
for
him go
like
to town.
weeks.
Yeah.
Seriously, but I mean, they don't let the parents, and maybe there's someone missing with it, but I don't think so. I don't get why they get found guilty, especially like a lot of time, and they have like the parents there, and they are literally trying to get the person, and they're like, no, no, no. It's like, bro, like if I was an officer, this probably won't let me apply for any officer jobs, but if I was an officer, I'd be like, oops, and, like
Yeah,
fall
right.
down.
Because
Because
I'm holding the wrong person. I'm holding the suspect down.
or tackle the other officer
Yeah.
and be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oops, sorry, bro. No, but I mean, that's like probably the most like justice thing, you know? It's like
Yeah.
that person had no regard, so now we have no regard,
Mhm.
you know, for the emotional feelings. So now your physical feelings are
But,
gonna hurt.
Yeah, there's like that whole debate on like how the sanctity of life, because in the Bible, you know how it says like if it says something like if you take a life, you should or if it's like if a murder or I'll find it and I'll put it. But anyway, it talks about how
Oh, link it.
if you die or if you kill someone, you yourself should be killed. All right. So what Genesis 9:6 says, whoever sheds the blood of a man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. So
Yeah.
basically, he's saying like if you kill someone, that's basically like killing the image of God, and
Oh.
for that you should yourself be killed. But that is Old Testament. So
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
But I want to take advantage of that segue into the image of God. So,
well, hold on, let me get through my point though.
oh,
okay,
okay,
so
my fault.
So
My fault.
yeah, step off. So about the whole sanctity of life, like now we're not even how people in abortion people are saying that abortion's not even, it's the woman's choice. It's not a life yet, it's still in the womb. That's not considered a person anyway. So and then that also ties in with the whole execution part. Like,
Yeah.
we're not taking life as sanctioned anymore, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's
And even that, like, when they say it's not a life, how can you prove that?
Right.
You know,
there's even like
I heard the
at
debate.
week 3 there's a heart pulse, or week
And I've
week
heard
6 or something.
I've heard a debate about potential for life. So it's like, at what point do you stop potential for life and it's wrong?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, like, yeah, I mean, you can go back to a million things that have potential for life or things that are causing harm. Like, maybe abortion causes harm to the woman's body, and they're like, so that's why it's allowed. But, like, there's different people in society that cause harm to society, but we actually help them. Like, say, homeless people. We have to, give them money and stuff, but we all know, like, yeah, we should help them. They're homeless,
That's a tricky one. If a baby's gonna kill the mother, like should it
Oh, yeah.
save the woman's life? But then on the other hand, like I would, well, what's more right? Leave it up to God's hands, to determine whether or not the
Yeah.
woman's gonna die.
Then you throw religion into it.
Right.
Everyone will freak out about
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
Like, no, what?
Have you ever
God.
heard of Francis Chain?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened with his mom, and
That dude's good.
yeah, doctors told his mom that there is a chance that she might die if she has a baby.
Right.
She left it up to God, and look at the man he's become. Like, how many
Yeah.
people he's led to Christ.
Yeah, I mean, people
know?
you touch. That's another argument is, like, people always say that we're going to get overpopulated, but people have been saying that since there was, like, 2
Right.
billion people
And
on Earth.
That's like the whole scheme of the devil is he wants population as low as possible.
Yeah, less
Yeah.
people to
Mhm.
to trick to go to hell. But the thing is that ever since they've been saying it since like 2 billion.
San Antonio, baby. The sounds of San Antonio. God love it.
San Antonio.
What is that?
He has a drink.
Oh my gosh.
The train passed. You can edit the first part. But the potential for life and creativity and all that is exponentially multiplied with each human mind. And when you multiply by the other human minds and their potential, it gets like to a crazy number. So, in other words, what I'm saying is when you take out all those lives with abortion, because some people justify abortion because of overpopulation, they say, but my mom lives in Africa.
Your mom lives in Africa?
Africa. Yeah.
That's Alaska, boy.
Yeah. No, she lives in Alaska, and literally, if you fly and stuff, there's like a bunch of land, and we live in Texas, and right when you get out of a city, it's like pitch black because there's nothing around, and you drive on the highway for 2 hours, and you get to the next city. So the overpopulation thing is kind of a non-starter because I live in Texas, and I've driven to like different places, and yeah, there's a lot of room.
I heard somewhere, I don't know if it was Texas, but you could, if you take the population of the whole world, I think you can fit inside of Texas.
Probably.
I think so.
So that's a non-starter. It's like, but the thing too is that all the invention and all the innovation that comes with all those new minds and all those minds getting multiplied with the old stuff that's already been invented and discovered is essentially how we got to this point where we aren't overpopulated. In fact, we have potential to be like underpopulated and have like a lot of resources, but that'll just keep going with the population going up because a lot of times they look at the surface level and they say, well, we're going to just get overpopulated, but they don't factor in all that creativity, all that innovation. Maybe we will figure out how to get to Mars,
And
or whatever, wherever, we can figure out how to populate underground, or there's a billion things. Ocean.
I think, well, I don't think, but
lab tests.
I know that, no matter what, God's going to have enough resources for us to survive. Not until, it's not going to be an act of like, the earth to, put the earth through hell. It's going to be his second coming that's going to do that.
Yeah.
And I think in 2007 or no, I'm probably earlier. I'll link it, but I think there was a famine in northern Africa or something.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, but they found
Probably
out
was.
that the whole earth agriculture production, I think in like Ireland or something, there was like 11% more food in Ireland, but in the famine, there was like nothing. So if they just sent like food over there,
Yeah.
I think that's the whole purpose.
Now people are going to be like, socialism!
Right. Well, I don't know. I'll link it.
Yeah.
The story is interesting because, that just like shows like if we weren't so like greedy and stuff, like we'll be okay,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And there's a way to do it, but that comes into charity, not government regulation,
Right.
because government is corrupt, and you get Stalin, and you get Hitler, and you get Castro every time you try that. So that's when you start doing charity, and the rich people are supposed to give, yes, but not be regulated to give, because I think that people see movies and they're like, no, rich are bad, because they see it on movies. There's a lot of really great rich people that do give charity and stuff, and it's not all bad. People get conditioned by one bad rich person.
And even if they work for it, like who's them? Well, they don't owe a cent to anyone else, If they worked hard for where they are.
I'm gonna bring up the Jew again.
The dirty Jew.
Yep. He said, as Ben Shapiro, theft is still theft, even when voted upon by democratic process. In other words, if Ethan and his friend voted to take my car keys, that would still be stealing my car keys, even though there's two of them and one of me. But I would also kill both of them.
And like someone who's rich, and versus like one rich person versus like 100, probably even I'd say like 300 poor people. that rich man pays more taxes than all the other 100 poor people like combined.
Like 39%.
Yeah, of like, it's crazy. I'll link a good video that shows like how our it's on Prager University about
yeah,
how
that's a
like
good one.
our tax system works.
Yeah. But, I mean, you pay. What did you just do?
No, your dad was looking at us through.
Oh, okay. We can cut all that. But, so basically, if your company's generating like $1 million and you pay 39% of that, it's like 390,000, I think. And then there's a few rich people making like 20,000, and they're paying like 20%. They generate a lot less money for the economy, and we know that the economy is very important. So when you look at it from that standpoint, it's very important to have the rich people around. You know what I mean? Have them doing their thing. But I think what kind of is sad and what people get caught up in is that a society based on merit is a good society, because you're having people earn what they work for. That's their merit. However many hours you put in, that's what you get out. But when you have a society like that, you have people that have less merit. Unfortunately, that's just how things are right now. And some people that's by choice, and some people that isn't by choice. But the best society by far is one that's based off of merit. You know what I mean? I always said, if there was an ideal world where everyone was the richest person ever, I would definitely be a liberal. But unfortunately, we live in a world where bad stuff happens every day, a bunch of bad stuff. So you have to try to make way for it the best way that you can.
Right.
Like they say, make lemons with lemonade. And the best way is not doing what Stalin and Castro and Hitler did with socialism or anything that's similar to that, because what always follows, because all you're doing is trading the rich people in a free market that are considered powerful for the powerful of a government, and then the government's corrupt, and now there's no trade to keep that in check, and then you get all the people murdered, like millions murdered by Stalin, millions murdered by Hitler. Castro tried to nuke us. North Korea, look at North Korea, dude. They literally get brainwashed. Do not leave it to government, because, like I said, ideally, yes, they would do a good job, but we live in the real world.
That's just true about Hitler. Like, it's like before, I don't know. Seems like not a lot of people know this, but they should, just so that we can be wary of that. Aware of that. So, whenever Hitler first was the runner-up, he actually did like a lot of good things for Germany. Yeah. That's why he became such a iconic figure. That's why he made the Nazi Party. That's why people supported the Nazi parties, because he did get like Germany out of like extreme like inflation.
From World War I.
Yeah, they needed like, it was crazy. Like they had to have like a whole like barrel full of like bills just to buy like a loaf of bread or something. Dude. It's crazy. They got him out of that whole mess. A couple other things. So people thought that this guy's a great, look at what he did with us. But then through power comes corruption, Great power comes great responsibility.
And what does that go back to?
Spider-Man.
And what does Spider-Man go back to?
Socialism.
Okay. It's a spiritual battle. To where Satan's like, oh, this person has natural power that they gain in the world. Come be mine, come be mine, come be mine. Yes, I got you. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall to that, because what is he going to use? He can use these, different, whatever you want, He could use, like, cool cars or women or food. Look like Jabba the Hutt. Whatever the case is, he'll use those things, and then it's hard to withstand that. Right. But very few select few have. And, but Satan use the Bible says that this world is Satan's, so he can use anything in it to. And I think I talked about this in the first video, but he can use anything in it to get you away from God. And not only that, but if you're away from God, you're serving Him. And if you're in a position of prominence, Like it says, to whom much is given, much is expected. And you can either give that to God or Satan. And a lot of people don't want to hear this either, but it says in the Bible, if you're not serving God 100% with all you are, that you still can serve Satan.
Ideal hands do the devil work.
Yeah. No, idle.
Oh, yeah. Ideal? Did I say ideal? I meant idle hands do the devil's
Not
work.
ideal. Yeah, those are not.
Yeah, so. Guess that's why we're doing this, you know?
Yeah, that's
Like-
I think what you're saying though, one thing is that like a lot of people will say like, oh well, Jesus hung out with bad people, like prostitutes and tax collectors were bad at the time, and so I can hang out with bad people. But what they don't factor is how strong Jesus' faith was. You know,
And his, like, intention, you know?
like everything was strong. He's like he's a model, and no one could ever get close to him. So whenever you say Jesus hung out with bad people, so I'll hang out. It's like, but are you as strong as Jesus
Right.
was in your faith? You know, 'cause that's
Like,
the only
because
reason.
if your intention is to reach them, you know, but if your intention is to be like, oh, I'll just hang out with them and have a good time, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
you're gonna get caught up in some bad
But
stuff.
even then, you have to be careful because like it's very easy to get corrupted. You know, if you're constantly in that bad, you pick it up. Like they say, iron sharpens iron. One man, or that's in the Bible. So one man sharpens another.
Like, I think it said that top 5 people who you hang around with, that's who you become.
Yeah, this is if you are gonna go, because another thing is God needs people of all different types of like backgrounds. Because like maybe if I went to like like you know all white something, then people would be like, you know, hey look, a Mexican or potentially an Arabian. But if Ethan went there, they'd be like, oh look, another white guy. He has a better opportunity to reach those people. But if you went to Mexico and not be able to speak Spanish and stuff like that, now
I'm getting
I
my
have
head
a better
chopped off.
opportunity. But in other words, people of all races and ethnicities, and even like having tattoos or not, or just a billion different categories and subcategories. He needs people of all those different things to go out and reach those communities, because a lot of times the people you need to reach are the ones that are going to be closed off to anyone that doesn't look like them and walk like them and talk like them. And
It's like
Yeah.
the way that he's also, it's funny how he was, just like great buds with like tax collectors, prostitutes, but yet like the Pharisees, he did not like those guys at all.
yeah, and that's a good example.
Yeah. I like that saying, a doctor or a healthy person doesn't need a doctor. A sick person needs
Yeah,
a
yeah.
doctor. So like
Hell
God
yeah.
came to heal the sick, not the
Yeah, because
not the righteous. That's
Yeah.
why he came. That's why he hated the Pharisees.
Yeah.
Or he didn't
Well, you can hate 'em.
Yeah. He just called them
Damn, bro, calm
Pharisees.
They killed Jesus. But yeah,
I can't wait to see to see all like the Jewish people's faces whenever Jesus comes back. They're like,
I'd be like, well,
crap.
oops. Yeah. I wonder if the actual Pharisees like were the ones that like basically got him killed what they're doing.
Oh yeah. It's like I don't know. I have to read up on it more, but like I think like the Jewish people get like a second chance or something. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's in the Bible. John
Yeah.
MacArthur talks about that. He says, I
Like-
think not only do they get a second chance, but like, I think most of them are actually considered saved
Right.
in the Book of
That's
Life.
what I heard.
Yeah, so that's a little more in depth, but God doesn't really talk too much about stuff that's not really that important.
Right.
You know, like he just said, all Jews are saved, and then he's not gonna elaborate because what does it matter to us? You know, and he's gonna decide like, no, you were a bad Jew. Like just because you're Jewish, you were a serial killer. You know what I mean? Like you're not. Yeah, like. And I think too the Bible is kind of complex and hard to read, but it's because like how much is in there is crazy. So it has to be a little bit difficult read, but it's not even like the hardest read. But just how much information is in there, it's amazing that
like different like how people interpret different things.
Yeah.
I wish it was just all like black and white, you know.
Mhm.
You know how he like talks like parables. He's like, if you have ears to hear, you'll hear.
Yeah.
But yet that also comes back to like bite us in the butt because some people hear like something different. I mean, if you're like a new Christian, you don't know what to believe.
But the parable he uses that A sower does not sow his seed only in one place. He sows it in a lot of places. I don't remember the first part, so yeah, that's what I get, right?
The final message, I guess.
What is it? You think? Because I don't know what it is.
We were bouncing left to right, up and down.
Left and right, but
But-
you know what? The topics and everything. That's some people. If it's hard to follow, like it's not that hard to follow. Just
Right.
like listen, and maybe listen to it twice because it really is not that hard to follow.
No matter what the world throws at
Stay
us,
strong.
at least we know like there's a savior out there, and he knows us. We know him, and we don't have to worry about a thing because no matter what this world throws at us, our assurance lies in Jesus.
Yeah.
In Jesus' name, we rest our heads, and in Jesus' name, we wake up. As long as we keep our heads straight, we're good to go. We don't have to worry about anyone else. We just have to worry about what we're doing, and what we need to do.
And the main thing is, staying in your word, staying close to God is very important because God knows it all. He wrote Revelation,
Amen.
and we know. You say amen?
Amen.
Amen, brother. But God knows it all, and He's going to tell us, and He's going to reveal to us, and the most important thing is He'll protect us. So
All right.
no matter what happens to socialism or anything bad, that's like really bad, that's why I use that.
Socialism.
God's going to protect us, the people who believe in Him and ask for His protection. Because He gives us not only protection, but He gives us the possibility or the ability to be holy. We just have to
We're
ask.
clothed in righteousness.
Yeah. Clothed.
I think that's a good note to sign off on.
Yeah, so
This
everyone
was,
just remember, stay in the Word because the Word was God. In other words, that's God trying to talk to you. And accept that gift like we were talking about last time. And you can still, cut it up and you don't have to be a perfect Christian. I mean, God will be happy the more you kind of follow and make Him the Lord of your life. But He wants you saved. He loves you as His kid, like anybody loves their kid. So just stay in the Word and I would say all this other stuff is kind of just background noise.
Right.
The main thing is the spiritual battle. I heard someone say that the spiritual battle is actually more real than the physical world. We just because we can't see it, we discount it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like 100% spot on. So
Amen.
I'm Joshua Flores.
I'm Ethan Ledwig. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching again. And now
Shalom.
and gracias. And now the